All right, folks, it's time to talk about action photography. Now, we've talked about shutter speed, and we've talked about aperture and how to get a picture. We've talked about composition. We've talked about quite a few things, and now it's time to put those things into action. So, action. Action photography is the act of taking pictures of things that are moving. So not necessarily just things that are moving, because most of the time people are moving, everything's moving. In fact, it's rare to take pictures of things that are still. Even you're moving, so those still things could be considered moving. Action photography is the art of taking pictures of fast action, sports, fast cars, things that move fast. Even hummingbird freezing his wings, birds flying, things in action, kids playing, action. Taking pictures of action. And I guess there's a couple different ways to approach taking pictures of action photography. One way is just beautiful and it's very surreal, is to freeze the action, so to stop it and just make it look like wow, I didn't know that that things look like that when they're still. Like when they're moving, your eyes just everything's moving, it all blends together. But if you could just take 1/6000th or 1/2000th of a second and freeze it and show people, look, every 2000th of a second this is happening, it's amazing, and people love that. I love it. I love to see things stop, that you like, especially like water, moving water, or like a action shot of a boxer or a horse running, where you see muscles and you see all these different forms in something that you didn't know, because there's all these lines that your brain just doesn't see, and you neglect to see until it's just stopped and it's put in front of you. That's what action shots are about to me. Like freezing something and showing that. There is another side of action photography, which is motion. Showing motion. I don't know if you've ever seen these really beautiful looking shots of a river, and it's just like a blur of stuff. That's action photography. You're photographing the motion of it. Everything else is still, but you see this moving river through the picture. So that's another approach to action photography. If you want to show something's moving very fast, like a race car, you could stop your picture. You can use a tripod to set your camera, shoot it, and let something pass through. And you'll see this blur going through. You're showing motion. A baseball player swinging a bat. You take it at a 15th of a second, 15th, 30th of a second, and you'll get the blur of the motion of the bat going by or the ball passing by. So those are other ways to approach action photography. There are specific settings to use, in specific situations. To freeze something, you're going to want to have your shutter speed very fast. You're going to want to use the faster side of your camera, which is going beyond that 1/25th of a second. That's for normal photography. Going beyond that 200th of a second, that's for your flash synchronization. You're going to go beyond that. You're going to go to a 500th of a second, an 800th of a second, 2000th of a second. However you want to freeze it, that's the thing that's what's going to decide if there's motion or if it's stopped, is your shutter speed. Your aperture is going to be it's going to be next in line. It's there to compensate for your speed going this way. So if you make your shutter speed smaller, you're letting less light in. So it's going to take a faster picture, which means there's not enough time for that light to get in, or there's less time for that light to get in. On the other side, which is your aperture, you're going to want to open up wider to let more light in. So the light gets in faster, so even though the picture's being shot faster, the light is pouring in through a bigger hole. And then if your aperture is as wide as you can go and your shutter is as low as fast as you need it to be, and you still don't have enough light, what you're going to do then is fall back onto your ISO, which will allow you to give you more leverage as to how fast the light's going to come into your camera. So when I shoot boxing, I normally shoot at 1000 or 1200 ISO, so that I could shoot my pictures at my aperture as wide as it can be, which is 2.8 on some of my lenses, 1.8 on one of my lenses, and my shutter speed is going to be a thousandth of a second, 1200 of a second. That's about as fast as I can go in different lighting situations. So those are some specifics on shots, and just to give you an idea of where the balance takes place. There's the trifecta. There's the three things. There's the holy trinity of photography. You have your ISO, your shutter speed, and your aperture, and you have to balance them. Everything has to be in balance in order to get that photograph correct. In order to get that picture properly exposed, you have to balance out that holy trinity. And for action photography, it's no different. You have to keep it balanced. You have to keep it right on. And so if you're going to be shooting things slow, sometimes you're going to have to put your ISO to as as low as it could be, which could be a 50th, a 50 ISO, and then you're going to have your shutter speed. Your shutter speed is going to be taking the action, so your shutter speed is going to be slow, which is going to be a 30th of a second, or you can go 1 second, you can go 10 seconds, you can go whatever you need, but your aperture is going to be on the other side adjusting. So the slower your shutter is, the smaller your aperture needs to be in order to, the aperture is cutting down the light, the shutter is letting it in for longer. So that's the balance. And then that's how you get to show action, you get to show motion. Instead of freezing motion, you show the motion. You're like, this is what's moving fast in this picture. This is, if the story that you want to tell is that, then that's how you show that this is the story I'm telling. Look how fast this was moving. Look how it compared to everything else. So, in retrospect, the action photography is, it comes down to two approaches for me. If you find more approaches, let me know. The two approaches for me are freeze it or show it. Show the action, show the motion, or freeze the motion and show, I guess showing the motion as well, but motion, there's an emotion in motion, and when you show that, when you show people something that they can't see with their everyday eyes, they appreciate it and they love it. And you can make money doing that, and you can or you can get the satisfaction of just making beautiful art. And action photography is beautiful art. So I hope you enjoy it. Have a good time, and I'd love to see some of your pictures. So good day to you. Are you ready to learn the core concepts behind taking great pictures all the time, every time, so that you can take pictures in any situation that you find yourself in? This DVD will teach you proper exposure, composition essentials, metering light, flash photography, about light, action photography, low light photography, staying in focus, white balance, and about pixels. Every chapter is broken up into sub-chapters so you can learn what you want to learn, when you want to learn it, and learn at your own pace. I don't just show you the settings that I use, but I show you why you choose the settings that you choose to get the best pictures around. And don't worry, it's not that difficult. This is the learning tool that I wish I had 10 years ago when I started, and that's why I'm offering it out to you guys for the price anyone can afford of $25, so photographers around the world can learn what I want to teach them. Email me at photomagic001@yahoo.com to place your order, and we'll get this disc in your hand as soon as possible. Thank you very much, and all the best to you.